Today I'm going to talk about dead phone talking, the elephant in the room. Most intelligence agencies have standard operation procedures, which means that if you enter the building, you will have to leave your phone behind. And this is normal. This is not only for visitors. This is also for the people working there. And when you start working there, they will tell you no Facebook or limit your Facebook, etc., etc. Now, the reason why it says finding the rest is because when I started making this video, I looked at social media and I could find 30% of the employees of one intelligence agency, but I decided that I do not wish to expose them. I hope they will remove their social media profiles. Finding the rest, so I found 30%. The way one could do that is by finding 100 dead phones, because when these people go to work, they put their phone in a box, and that means that from 8 o'clock in the morning the phone is inactive, and around 4 o'clock they go home and then the phone becomes active again. The Dutch Forensic Institute, they developed a method. They realized that many criminals would switch off their normal phone and use a burner phone when they did criminal activities. Well, if you compare this data, you can see, hey, this phone is off, this phone is on, and it's always this one goes off and this one goes on. If you have enough metadata, then you can realize that we have 100 people that work in a building, and that we just look at the nearest tower, and their phone is always off while they're in the building, and when they come out it's on again. And if you know the building, which in most Western countries is public knowledge, then it's relatively easy. Now, the way to do this is you hack your local provider and then you look for all metadata from that one specific tower. Or you can use a fake base station, which is called the man in the middle. The phone thinks that they actually connect to a normal base station, but in reality it's a fake one that just collects all the data. On the left side we have an article from CNET about hackers that broke into 10 telecom companies to steal customers' phone records. And the information they steal is metadata, already mentioned that. And what it shows is that who you're calling, the time, the duration of the call, who you've been texting with. And because it has geolocation, it also tells which is the nearest cell tower. And if you know which cell tower is nearest to a intelligence operation, then of course you can reverse it and say who is not using their phone during the day. And then you have a pretty good idea who is working there. Now, foreign intelligence organizations, they will keep this data and they will use programs like Maltego, which you can see here on the right. They probably actually have better programs than Maltego, although Maltego is pretty good. You put in the phone number and then it will tell you the connections that phone has. You put in a name and then you can see which domain names are connected to that name. Here is an article from NBC News. It showed that a foreign intelligence agency found that somebody, Kevin Mallory, had 230,000 in debt, and they contacted him via LinkedIn, sent him a message. He's an ex-CIA, made him an offer. What they would do is they invite you to come to a conference. They pay the trip, they put you in a nice hotel, they might even provide some extra special service in the hotel room, and then at some point somebody will come and say, hey, I'm from a think tank, we could use somebody with your knowledge, would you mind helping us every now and then? Secrecy demands trust. That means that when you're at home, you cannot tell what you've been doing. You can't come home and say, hey darling, I've been hacking this company, or I've advised this company how to increase their security. And this will obviously put a strain on relationships. But for foreign intelligence organizations, you are a legit target. They see you as the enemy. You work for the military intelligence or you work for the CIA. They have no scruples to hurt you. And there are many ways of doing that. If they think, well, hey, we can't hire this guy because he is a true patriot, then they can still damage you. And I'll give you a little example of that. It's Christmas and somebody sends you this Christmas card. Your wife opens it and it says, Nicole, XXX. When you come home, your wife will say, hey, who is Nicole? And you will say, I have no idea. And the wife will say, okay, fine. And then 5 days later, she will say, "You sure you don't know Nicole?" Because it will stay in her mind. Well, as always, thanks for watching. I would appreciate if you subscribe